Hey everybody, and welcome to Yarn Talk, where we share the latest knitting news, trends, and interview designers every 2 weeks.
I'm Leah, and today we're going to talk about the fine weight yarn that we're knitting with.
And I'm Heidi, and I'm going to be interviewing Allison, who's right here. It's going to be awesome.
But first, I am going to talk about a new sweater shape that we're seeing a lot of, the Super Dolman. We have talked about capes and ponchos a lot here on Yarn Talk, but something that we're seeing a lot of now is a super dolman sleeved sweater. So a regular dolman sleeve, it has just a kind of an exaggerated shaping right here. So you have a big armhole, so you have kind of like, they also call it a bat wing. It usually comes right here and you still have full movement in your arm, but there's just an extra layer of fabric here that makes a little bit more interesting for the sweater. A super dolman is kind of like if a cape and a regular pullover had a baby, it would be the super dolman. So you still have a very tight sleeve, you still have a structured sleeve, but you have a lot of extra fabric right here that adds a lot of visual interest to the pullover. So the Super Dolman sleeve, we are seeing in a lot of different sleeve lengths. Eastbound sweater that just came out from Courtney Kelley is a short-sleeved example of a Super Dolman. She has a very large short sleeve tee pullover that makes it a Super Dolman really easy because you don't actually have a lot of fabric because you only have a short sleeve. Whereas my Can't Wait to Cast On this week by Teresa Gregorio, her Harris pullover, has a ton of extra fabric here so that you actually do have a little bit of restricted movement with your arms, but you still have a structured sleeve. I have had Erica Patberg's Cobble Hill pullover in my queue for ages, which is a great example of a 3/4 length sleeve sweater that has the exaggerated dolman sleeve, the Super Dolman, but it's 3/4 length, so you have a little bit more arm movement still, but it has that extra fabric and that extra little fanciness. So I feel like a lot of knitters kind of hesitate at a dolman or a super dolman because they're not sure about how to style them. What's great about this kind of sweater is actually it's a style all on its own. It's a lot of sweater, so you don't really have to do too much to it to get it to look like a put together look. What you have to worry about though is getting kind of like your body getting lost in it. What's a great way to fix that is accentuating the thinness of your legs. So you can wear it with a skirt so that you can see, look at my tiny legs under this bag-like sweater. You still get the outline of your body because you're accentuating your legs. Skinny jeans are also a great way to do this, and if your dolman sweater is long enough, you can wear it with leggings. Another great thing that I like to do is wear a crossbody bag, a long one. So depending on where the bottom of your dolman sleeve ends, your crossbody bag will cut you here, showing off your bust line and also the side of your body, so that bag kind of serves as like a weird belt almost that shows that you you have shape to your body. A bad thing about a super dolman is it's hard to put a jacket on over it depending on how much fabric is actually there. So the temperature of what you need to dress for, you have to kind of pay attention to that because you can't like suck up your whole sweater into a jacket. But if your super dolman is big enough, that can be your jacket and you can wear it a lot like you wear a poncho or a cape. So get a little adventurous, pick out your favorite super dolman sweater for your queue this fall.
When I saw Kieran Foley's Atlas wrap, my heart skipped a beat. This stunning, colorful pattern was inspired by North African embroideries, the colors of camels, and a specific breed of yarn called Color Shift dyed by Erica Heftman. This wrap brings together so many beautiful elements and makes me wish I had a lot more knitting time.
Hey guys, today I am doing my first YarnTalk interview.
Yay,
Luckily,
it's really easy. It's super easy.
Luckily, it's with Allison, who's like the mistress of all things interview. A couple episodes ago, Allison interviewed Leah. Now I'm interviewing Allison, which means Leah's gonna interview me in a couple episodes.
That makes logical
sense. It's a triangle. So, Allison, for those of our viewers who don't know, what do you get up to? Like, what are all of your bazillion knitting projects?
I am a designer, so I do a lot of independent design that I release on my website, The Sweatshop of Love, and also work with a lot of magazines, Knit Scene, Interweave, different stuff like that. I work a lot with knit picks. Also, I love working with knit picks. I also am editor of the online magazine Holla Knits. So Holla Knits comes out 4 times a year, and I curate all of those patterns and work with a bunch of different really fun designers. Holla Knits is kind of a fashion forward, really interesting, unusual construction, challenging pattern focus. And it's in its 4th year. And I just released my first book that Karina Spencer and I published together with our 2 hands. We did everything ourselves, Midwestern Knits, that came out a few weeks ago. That's it.
Yeah, just a couple things.
Yeah, just
like
a couple things.
2 or 3.
I'm also on this really cool show, a web series called YarnTalk.
I don't know.
You'll have to look it up. YarnTalkShow.com. It's really cool.
YarnTalkShow.com?
YarnTalkShow.com.
Okay. I got it. I will bookmark that.
Look it up.
So, like, with all of this stuff you've got going on, and you also, I work part-time and then I do my knitting thing the rest of the time, and you are the same, but you do like 100 jillion things.
It feels like it sometimes.
What is your lifestyle balance like? Like, how many hours a day are you awake?
That's the thing. Like, I don't have a work-life balance.
Okay.
But it's okay. One of my jokes is if I was a doctor or a lawyer, people would be very concerned. They'd be like, oh, we need an intervention. She works so much. But because I do something so cute, people are just like, oh, she's doing her little cute thing, whatever. It's totally okay that she works 18 hours a day. Not a big deal.
One thing that I think is key to your success is your confidence level. I definitely think Leah, who's behind the camera over there, I think she and I would both agree, like, YarnTalk would not have started by now, or maybe it would barely have started without Allison, because I was like, hey, we should do this show, but I have all of these things I'm really worried about. So working with Allison has been super motivating for, like, getting the ball rolling and just saying, like, this is happening now.
We'll figure it out. Yeah.
So, like, how are you this confident? Like, do you just fake it till you make it? Like, what's your confidence advice, I guess?
I feel like I have a couple mantras. One of them is definitely, if it were easy, everyone would do it. So it's hard. It's hard getting up every day and just being yourself, and especially when you use your face and your body to sell things,
right?
You have to do it. You just have to have the confidence to do it. Otherwise, you would just sit in your house all day. Nobody's gonna tell me to design something. I have to tell myself to design something. Nobody's gonna tell you, except Heidi, to go be on the internet. You have to just do it. And if it were easy, everyone would do it. So I use that as a power. For me, I am doing it. And that, I did it. I'm doing it. So I have to just keep following through with it. And if it were easy, everybody would do it. And I think with YarnTalk too, Amy Poehler has a great little thing that she uses that is it's better to just do something and have it be out there instead of have it be perfect. And I think that's what I used about the show, is let's just do it and see what happens.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that we did. Because we've learned, looking at this episode compared to our first episode, it's exponentially been so much better, and we figured it out along the way. And yeah, hell yeah,
awesome,
Leah. Yeah.
So it would not be a YarnTalk interview if I didn't ask if an animal could appear in the middle of this interview right now and do a video bomb. What would that animal be for you?
So my favorite animal, I love animals. My favorite animal though growing up was a manatee. And I think just the ridiculousness of being able to have a manatee in this interview is so like delightful and charming. I also love the idea of just like a sad little manatee like floating down.
Like a sea creature.
Like a sea, like just like doing this thing. I also just hate the idea of them just getting blown over by boats constantly.
Yeah.
So I just kind of want all the manatees to be in the studio and to save them.
Yeah.
We could put them to work with like knitting or make
with
like a knit
with their hands.
Yeah, yes, with their hands. And we could help their rips from the speedboats with knitting. So a manatee.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we also have a giveaway.
Yes, yeah.
That we should talk about.
Yes.
Do you want to tell us about
Absolutely. You can enter to win the giveaway. You can pick any of my patterns, Holland patterns, magazine patterns, any of them. I'm nearing 100.
Holy crap.
Which is crazy. I think it's like 94
That's crazy.
now, which is, yeah, insane. You can have your pick. Just go to yarntalkshow.com and follow the instructions there for your chance to win.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Heidi.
High five.
Yeah, high five. Teresa Gregorio recently put out another winner with her Harris pullover as part of Knit Pick's Twist and Tweed Fall 2015 collection. This super dolman sleeved pullover is part cape, part pullover, and a perfect sweater to throw on when you're walking out the door this fall. Panels of cables break up in all-over seed stitch that makes the drape of the sweater super flattering despite its oversized, even sack-like shape. Find Harris at knitpicks.com as both an individual download and inside this lovely fall collection.
So Heidi and I both realized that we have been knitting with very fine yarns, either lace weight or fingering weight lately, and so we wanted to talk a little bit about why one would be so crazy as to knit with these super fine yarns, and some of the pitfalls that happen when you do choose to knit with lace weight or fingering weight yarn.
Absolutely. Like Leah's 3-inch rectangle here is gorgeous up close. We'll have to include a picture. But how long have you been working on this bad boy?
This took probably a good 15 hours at least to knit. This is with Shibui Sima, which is a lace weight, and this is a size 0 needle. So I am crazy. I will admit that fully and up front. And one of the reasons that you would want to work with fine yarn is that you can kind of achieve certain drape and kind of an airiness to the fabric that you really can't get with any other thicker yarns.
So this swatch I have here is in Louette Gems fingering weight, which seen next to these two guys looks humongous. And this is only done on 3, so it's still fingering weight, but it's not that really light lace weight. And even just side by side, I mean, this looks like, it's beautiful yarn, but it looks like child's play compared to something like this.
It's a different scale.
Yeah, and so you can accomplish lace in bigger yarns, but when you do it in these finer yarns, it's just much more luxe, it's much more professional. You can wear it to much more formal sort of occasions, especially if you're looking at a shawl.
It gives it more of a refined kind of finished
Yeah,
quality.
and it reads a little bit more as machine knitting because the gauge is so much smaller too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why I really like working with really fine yarns.
Yeah, and you can also achieve sort of a semi-transparency to the fabric while it's still, it's not like it looks like it's full of holes, but it just has sort of a semi-opaque quality rather than being your typical kind of knit, stretchy, holey business.
Absolutely.
Some of the drawbacks of working with super fine yarns are that it does take a very long time to complete anything. You're going to have to budget a lot more time per inch than you normally would. It's also very tiny and can be kind of fiddly. If you're not super dexterous, it's going to be a little more challenging to work with. And Also, if you're designing in superfine yarns, not everybody is going to be interested in knitting a pattern that is written with something that's superfine. So you have to think about that too. If you want a lot of people to make it, it might be a questionable decision to make something in, like a sweater in lace weight. So just want to think about that as well.
Yeah, like I always feel like a little bit of a masochist when I work on a project like this. When this is done though, and it's friggin' huge enormous, because I've got crazy yardage, it's gonna be so beautiful. And the way I kind of survive knitting on really fine yarns is, like I cast this project on a couple months ago and I want to finish it several months from now, so I just do it in the background kind of as a palette cleanse, because I'm a masochist. I call it a palette cleanse, so that I don't feel like I'm laboring on this thing for a zillion years.
That's smart. So if you do feel like you're up to the challenge of knitting very fine yarn, join Heidi and I with our size 1 and 0 needles and cast on something tiny and crazy.
The Karusellen hat by Erica Smith from the new issue of Pom Pom Quarterly is so fun! Featuring a design that reminds this Scandinavian bred lady of Swedish Dala horses, the Karusellen is a quick knit that will go well with a variety of fall and winter looks. The two-color color work throughout the body of the hat afford knitters who might be new to stranded color work a chance to playfully master a new technique.
Thank you so much for watching Yarn Talk. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
And for a chance to win a pattern of mine of your choice, please go to YarnTalkShow.com and follow the instructions.
And as usual, don't forget about our Pinterest board where we share on-the-fly inspiration as we put each of these episodes together. So check that out and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Just get rid of the cough drop. I think you can't handle it.
Yeah, your mom's trying to concentrate on it.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Yarn Talk, where we